Hey, insiders, we've just sorry, sorry, that's my fault. Let's go again for that. Sorry. Three, two, one. Hey, insiders, we've got a very special guest joining us here today who's recently just graduated from our flagship course LMA, which is the Life Mastery Achievers. And she's so graciously going to be coming on here today to share her experience from start to finish and everything else in between. And I guess before we dive in, I'm just curious to know, would you mind telling everybody what's your name and where you're currently based?
Hi, my name is Brianna Michelle Roberts Lozano, and I live in Ventura, California, USA.
Fantastic. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. And as we're going to be chatting all things LMA here today, I'm just curious to know, what would you say was some of the biggest struggles or challenges you were facing in your life prior to joining the LMA course?
So, some of the struggles I was facing has to be a lot of anxiety, some stress, um, fears that I haven't been facing, trying to ignore the problems that were in my life and kind of just keep my head down and keep going.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of it got a bit overwhelming and it kind of stumped me a lot this past year, actually.
Mhm.
So, um, just trying to come out of that shell of my past self and look towards the future and not be so afraid of what could happen
Mhm.
is something that I was looking for a while now.
Right. And you see those anxieties and those fears that you were talking about there, how are they affecting your life on a day-to-day basis?
It was a lot of internal anxiety, things that my mind was telling me about myself that was not true at all.
Mhm.
And it's just like LMA says, a survival brain kind of thinking, because in the past it worked to protect you. And now that you don't need that protection anymore, it's kind of just holding you back
Mhm.
and not letting you come to your potential, your true identity.
Mhm.
And the one talking to you, the voice in your brain is not you. That's something that's kind of hard to realize
Yeah.
that you have to break away from that and become who you really are under all those layers of what you thought you were.
True, very
So,
true. Love the honesty. Thanks so much for the honesty and openness. And I guess obviously as LMA fell upon your path then, was there any part of you that was skeptical or that was questioning, what am I doing? What am I getting myself involved in here? And if so, how do you put that skepticism to one side and step forward and come on board LMA?
totally, there was a lot of skepticism. Personal development is something that's very new to me. The only thing I kind of knew about personal development is, watching the occasional TED Talk. So, coming across the ad for LMA on YouTube, of course, not even really looking for that at the moment was something that was like, whoa, um, how did Tim know? you know?
Yeah.
So, um, there was some pushback, but just by hearing his voice and the words that he was saying, how much they touched me, how much they related to me, it was like, whoa,
Mm.
um, stop resisting and just take the leap and go for it. It was a bit daunting because I felt like, oh, I can't do this. That survival brain talking to you, like, even if you did get this information, even if you were part of that community, maybe you're not going to fit in and maybe you're not going to be able to bring yourself out of this anxiety, this fear that you're telling yourself. So, thankfully, with Tim's calm words and having you as part of the community and making everyone get up and get out there, it's really inspiring and
Mm.
it makes me want to keep moving forward.
Beautiful, beautiful. And following on from that there, Brianna, what would you say to someone who is maybe feeling the way you were feeling, like, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to even fit in? What would you say to someone who's maybe thinking those things like you had been?
um, just go for it, really. Fear is always going to be part of it. but giving yourself the chance to actually experience and try, it kind of sets that to the side
Mm,
and it gives you the power to come into your own and face things. You're gonna always face things in life that's not something that you have control over. It's just the way that you do it, the way that you process it, the way that you use it to your benefit,
mm,
looking on the bright side.
oh,
It's still something that I struggle with even after graduating. So
mm,
that's why, you continue, you retrain, you get more involved every season,
mhm.
which is something I'm excited to do.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And obviously, whenever you came on board LMA, we know it's not free. It's not like a free course. Had you any like resistance towards parting with financial commitments and stuff? And if so, how did you put them to one side and step on board and get involved?
It was pretty daunting, intimidating looking at how much it was going to be. But of course, the true Tim way, he's so generous. He threw in all these extra bonuses, being part of the community for free. And it it made it worth it. After that first free LMA course, being so astonished and stunned and shook at the same time, um, you kind of have to put that financial decision as a secondary to what could be coming to you afterwards. After the self development, it's worth it. And, the team, the staff works with you, whatever financial state you're at. So I think that's really great. And definitely go in, invest in yourself. It's worth it.
Wonderful. Beautifully, Pat. Thank you so much for sharing. And I've heard you speak about the community aspect and the team vibe and the people that you're there with. How important is the people that you've gone through this journey with and even the community support that you've had being a part of that community? How impactful has that been on your journey?
It's tremendously impactful to see so many other people that are going through similar things that you are, that struggled with the same things, who are still struggling,
Hmm.
but they're persevering through it.
Hmm.
And being able to consume their knowledge and their phrasing and how they took in LMA, it kind of helps you translate it yourself as well. So you're continuing to take in the same information, it's just in different ways so that it rounds everything out in a great way. So
Wow. What would you say for you personally surprised you the most about LMA and the entire course? What surprised you or took you by surprise or made you the most happy about what you experienced?
to realize how much of a blindfold I've been wearing, how much of a rock shield I've had up, and to let the words of LMA just slowly chip away at things is very shocking,
Mm,
very mind blowing. And it gave me hope that, hey, you realize this, you realize these patterns that you have. How are you going to change moving forward? And know that no matter what change, it's always going to be towards the right path.
wow. Wow. Wonderfully put. And for you personally, and I know maybe you've learned a lot from LMA and you say that it's a continuous journey, but for you personally, what's one thing that you're most like proud of or that you've noticed within yourself that has truly shifted and changed for you, having gone through LMA or just even being aware of the LMA lingo and the language of LMA? What's something that you truly noticed within yourself that has shifted and changed?
The want to recreate and realize my true identity is one of the biggest things because, um, like I said, a lot of the things I've told myself, how I identified myself, are not true. Even though other people around me see me and they tell me these things that are good, you're a good worker, you're a great person,
Mm,
I would hear them, but I wouldn't listen. And that's another big thing about LMA is Tim's always checking in. Are you listening? I do that a lot in my life now when I come across something inspirational or something mind opening. I'm like, are you listening?
yeah. And
So
for,
you just have to be
yeah,
open and take things and actually realize the signs that are in front of you.
wow. So
Mhm.
on top of that, would you say, or sorry, not would you say, oh, I've lost my, hold on, sorry, there's a dog barking. I'm just gonna pause for 1 second. Oh yeah, sorry, I got it now. It was saying that how would you summarize Tim as a teacher, facilitator, and trainer? What would you say about Tim?
Tim is awesome. Um, if you want to talk about commitment, you talk about Tim Han because he's always when like all in 100%. He's really taught me that you need to lean in. If you're gonna go for it, you go all the way. Take a giant step in, and even if you're in the middle of the pool, you just keep on swimming. And that's what I love as a teacher from him is that he's he's been through it himself. He brought himself to where he's at. So there's no reason why you don't see that potential in yourself. And I think that's a great quality to have as a mentor, as a teacher.
Wonderful.
You do what you preach, you know.
Love it. And to just wrap it all up here, last but not least, having gone through the experience now yourself, what advice would you give to someone who's sitting on the fence or thinking about joining LMA? They want to change their life? What would you say to those people?
I say it's okay to be afraid, but of course, don't let that hold you back. There are a lot of people out there in the world who struggle and are struggling just like you. And the only way to make it through this life is to persevere, to love and receive love, love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love others? And that's a analogy that will reign on for the rest of time.